2021. And it's a public service announcement to members of the public who wish to address the commission this evening under the public forum or on the public hearing item. You may do so by following instructions at the top of this evening's agenda, and you'll be queued in to the speaker position. And calling the meeting to order. And the next agenda item here is the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Alcorn, would you lead us in the pledge?
Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice.
Great. Thank you very much, Commissioner Alcorn. And the next agenda item here is roll call with Ms. Medina. Do conduct the roll call, please.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Commissioner Albana.
Present.
Commissioner Alcorn.
Present.
Commissioner Belong.
Present.
Vice Chair Chuan.
Present.
Commissioner Ciardella.
Present.
Commissioner Galong. Mr. Galong.
Here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Sorry.
And Chair Tao.
Present. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And the next agenda item here is conflict of interest declaration with the city attorney. Please poll the commissioners.
Yes, Chair. Ask whether any of the commissioners have a financial or personal conflict of interest on any of the items before you tonight. I'll just go down the line. Commissioner Gallang.
No.
Commissioner Ciardella.
None.
Commissioner Albana.
None.
Commissioner Belong.
None.
Commissioner Alcorn.
None.
Vice Chair Chuan.
None.
And Chair Tao.
None.
Let the record reflect none to that question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Los Angeles. And the next agenda item here is approval of the agenda. And commissioners, any changes to the agenda? If you'll raise your hand. Seeing none. And staff, any changes to the agenda?
No, we have no changes to the agenda tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to
I make a motion to approve the.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Albana. And can I have a second, please?
second.
Okay, I'll break the tie with Commissioner Belon as the second. Thank you. So we have a motion by Commissioner Albana and a second by Commissioner Belon. And I'll go down the row for the call on the vote. Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Commissioner Belon.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Ciardella.
Aye.
Commissioner Belon.
Aye.
Commissioner Alcorn.
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair Chuan.
Aye.
Chair, aye as well. Motion carries 7-0 on the ayes. And the next agenda item here is approval of minutes. We have 2 minutes this evening for the Planning Commission's approval. We have a May 12th, 2021 and a May 26th, 2021 meeting minutes. So we'll go ahead and do the May 12th, 2021 meeting minutes first. So commissioners, any changes to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. And staff, any changes to the minutes?
No changes to the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, thank you. And I have Vice Chair Chuan spoke first. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, and then we have a motion by Commissioner Chuan and a second by Commissioner Belong. And I'll go ahead do the calls on the vote. And Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Galan.
Aye.
Commissioner Ciardella.
Aye.
Commissioner Belong.
Aye.
Commissioner Alcorn.
Aye.
Vice Chair Chuan.
Aye.
Chair, I as well. Motion carries 7-0 ayes for the May 12th, 2021 meeting minutes. In the second set of minutes is the May 26th, 2021 meeting minutes. Commissioners, any changes to the minutes? Okay, seeing none. And staff, any changes to the minutes?
No changes.
Thank you. And may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the minutes from May 26,
Thank you, Vice
2021.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And a second, please.
second,
Okay, I got Commissioner Sardella second. So motion by Vice Chair Chuan and second by Commissioner Sardella. And I'll go ahead do the vote call. And Commissioner Albana,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner Galan,
Aye.
Commissioner Sardella,
aye,
Commissioner Belong,
Aye.
Commissioner Alcorn,
Aye.
Vice Chair Chuan,
Aye.
Chair I as well. Motion carries 7-0 ayes. Thank you very much. And moving on to the next agenda item here is the announcements. Planning commissioners, any announcements? Vice Chair,
Yes, I'd like to, yesterday was Commissioner Ciardella's 25th birthday. Just wanted to wish him happy birthday.
boy, I can start drinking now, huh?
well, Commissioner Sardella, happy birthday, and you will enjoy your beverage probably after this meeting, and Chair will expeditiously conduct the meeting this evening.
Thank you.
And any other announcements? Okay, any other good wishes for our birthday commissioner?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday, Commissioner.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, Commissioner Sardella, you're the most popular guy this evening, and you won the award. We'll present it at such time that we're able to go live in person again.
There you go, huh?
Well, thank you. And the planning director, any announcements?
Yeah, just a few quick announcements. So our next meeting, June 23rd, we'll have 2 items on the agenda. That will be our last meeting for this month. And then as we were discussing before the meeting started, the city takes a break during July. So the city council and planning, all the city commissions, there will be no meetings. The following day on June 24th, we will have the third of 3 community conversations regarding the revitalization of Main Street. This third conversation will focus on the topic of historic and cultural resources. So if you, there's some information about that on the city's website. If you are interested, please do register and we'd be glad to join you. It's usually we start at 6 o'clock. It's a 2-hour meeting. We have a brief presentation at the beginning to sort of provide some background information, and then we break into smaller group discussion. And the first 2 meetings I thought went very well. We had some really good ideas. This is, of course, preliminary to updating the Main Street specific plan, and the information that we're gathering will be used to inform that process. So that's again on June 24th. It's Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. And check the website for, and no meetings in July. And then we will be doing, there will be a phased opening of City Hall starting in August. And the details will be presented to the City Council at their next meeting on June 15th. So if details are still being worked out by the city manager's office, but if you're interested in sort of the plans for that phased reopening and watch in August, we'll have more details as we go along. It's not clear yet how whether or not we will be doing our planning commission meetings in person or virtually or some type of a hybrid approach, but as that becomes clear, I'll let everybody know. That's all of the announcements I have. Thank you.
Thank you, planning director. And we will certainly miss the more casual dressed meetings when we do go back to the in-person platform. Okay, thank you very much, Director Thomas. And the next agenda item here is public forum. Those interested are invited to address Planning Commission on any subject not on tonight's agenda, orally via Zoom webinar, instructions above. Speakers may provide their name and city of residence for the recording secretary's record, and comments may be limited to 3 minutes or less. As an item not listed on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the Planning Commission, and no action can be taken. Planning Commission may instruct the staff to place the item on a future meeting agenda. So, Ms. Medina, do we have any members of the public in the queue?
Chair,
Yes.
we have one community member in the queue. It
Okay,
is Miss Diane Knudsen.
okay. And then Ms. Nussen, welcome, and you have 3 minutes for the public forum.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Diane Knudsen and I reside in Davis, California, but I come to you tonight as a representative of the regional offices of the United Methodist Church. Our church folks are excited that our building on Main Street will be put to good use by this adult daycare organization. And so-
Mr. Newsom, this is an agenda item. Any comments from members of the public will be addressed during the public hearing process for that particular item. And this is for items not on tonight's agenda.
Okay, I'm so
All right,
sorry.
that's all right. You can sign back in
Okay.
during the public hearing timeframe for the agenda item this evening. All right, thank you very much. And Ms. Medina, anyone else in the queue?
Chair, there are no other community members in the queue to
Okay.
speak.
Thank you very much. And we're moving on to the next agenda item. Here's the public hearing. This is the adult daycare facility at 210 South Main Street. Ms. Garner, if you will, introduce the item, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. So this is a conditional use permit amendment, and it's to allow a change in use from a previously approved childcare facility that the Planning Commission actually reviewed back in 2019. And so the proposal tonight is to amend that conditional use permit to an adult daycare facility from the previously approved childcare facility. And there's a lot more detail to this. Avery Stark, our assistant planner, will be presenting on this project, and look forward to hearing it. Thank you.
Mr. Stark, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Tao, Director Thomas, commissioners, staff, and community members. The item before you, as mentioned by Planning Manager Garner, is a conditional use permit amendment for a minor site development permit, a tree removal permit, and to allow for an adult daycare facility, alterations to an existing building, and site improvements. Next. A little bit of greater detail here. The applicant's scope is intended, again, to amend the existing conditional use permit to allow a change in use from the previously approved childcare facility to an adult daycare facility. Mission Bay, the provider, will provide and serve up to 135 adults aged 21 through 65. The application also includes a minor site development permit to allow for the exterior modifications to the existing roughly 19,733 square foot commercial building, including minor facade improvements, parking lot revisions, and landscape improvements. It also includes a tree removal permit to allow the removal of 4 ordinance protected trees. And to note that this is an application for an amendment, so staff had determined that the request for the modifications to be considered significant and required referral to the Planning Commission as the final decision-making authority from the original property. And a daycare use is conditionally permitted in the MXD zone, and the scope of the exterior work has necessitated the minor site development permit and the tree removal permit subject to discretionary review. Next. Here we see a satellite view of the subject site outlined in red. The proposed center would be in that existing 2-story building that had previously operated as the Genesis United Methodist Church, which ceased operations in June of 2019. Next. The general plan and zoning ordinance designates the site as mixed use, where daycare facilities are conditionally permitted. The surrounding properties are zoned for mixed use, as seen by the contiguous purple color, and heavy industrial M2 to the east across from the Southern Pacific Railroad line, which separates the property from the M2 zone. Next. The project site provides one-way vehicular circulation with an entrance lane from South Main Street at the southern end of the site, as indicated by the blue entrance arrow, and vehicular egress via the north end drive aisle, indicated by the yellow exit sign. This one-way circulation will remain in effect for the operation of the adult daycare facility, and there is a public sidewalk that runs along the front of the property and provides pedestrian access to the site. The applicant will restripe, repave, and add new asphalt portions to the existing parking area. See sheet 6C of the project plans for greater details. Site will have a total of 35 vehicle spaces, 4 more than the number required by the zoning ordinance for the proposed adult daycare use. The applicant will also add 2 new required covered parking spaces for the single residential unit on the 2nd floor, and 2 new bicycle parking spaces behind the building as required by the MXT zoning off-street parking regulations. Next. So table 5 of the staff report demonstrates and details the project's compliance with the zoning ordinance for the adult daycare facility. So similarly, like a child care facility, other daycare educational facilities, most of mission-based participants live with family or care homes. However, unlike a daycare or school, the participants do not come to and from the site in separate private vehicles. Instead, Mission Bay provides the participants with van transportation to and from the site daily. And most of the 50 staff also use these vans to ride along with the participants during pickup in the morning and drop off in the evening at home. And to note, we use a slightly different ratio for parking. We use net floor area because this is a shared parking lot because it has 2 separate uses, one an adult daycare and 1 residential unit. Next. The applicant will remove and replace 21 of the 23 on-site existing trees, 4 of which are protected per the municipal code as protected trees and require a replacement at 1-to-2 tree ratio. The applicant proposes to add 8 new trees to the site, and sheet L4 proposes to add actually part of 9, and sheet L4 illustrates the 9 new 24 box London pine trees, and L3 designates the precise location on the plan, and again is 1 more than required by the zoning ordinance. The existing landscape at the property front will remain unchanged, and new plants will be installed around the perimeter of the building as illustrated on L3. The applicant will install approximately 2,000 square feet of new total irrigated landscape throughout the property with trees, plants, shrubs, and other flowers to complement the Main Street specific plan and to provide a bit of vibrancy to the site. Next, please. The project scope includes several site improvements to prepare the building for the adult daycare facility. The major of which is the first floor will consist of a multi-purpose room, gymnasium, kitchen, men, women, and unisex restrooms, 3 conference rooms, a reception area, and several other small office/conference rooms. The second floor consists of 1 residential unit with a separate and independent access from the building's primary use. Additionally, independently and not integral to the primary use, there will be 3 offices, a break room, and storage space that will be accessible from the adult daycare use. Next, please. Additional work includes the installation of several new windows, exterior doors to replace any that have sustained damage, and repaint the building in a similar palette and color tones to the existing building as illustrated at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The existing exterior signage will be refaced and the final signage will be issued under a separate permit. But you can see the proposed front west elevations on sheet A2.1 of the project plans for their location and an approximate design. The applicant will also install the 6-foot tall wooden fence along the rear and side property lines as seen on sheet L3 in red of the project plans. The applicant proposes again to open Mission Bay Works Adult Daycare Facility, offering services Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. intellectually and developmentally challenged adults aged 21 to 65 years, with a maximum capacity of 135 participants and approximately 50 staff. Services provided by Mission Bay staff to their participants range from pre-vocational, independent living, and socialization skills. The daily activities and operations can be found in the justification and operations letter attached to this report. The Milpitas Police Department reviewed the project, prescribes several measures to ensure the safety and security of the overall site and its occupants, and all are included in the resolution as project conditions of approval. Conditions address such things as a high-definition video surveillance system, adequate exterior lighting, posted exterior site signage to discourage trespassing and loitering, filing emergency contact information with the police department in the event of an emergency. Next. Staff provided public notice for the application in accordance with the city and state public noticing requirements. The city published a public hearing notice in the Milpitas Post on May 29th, 2021, and sent notices via mail to 268 residents and owners within 1,000 feet of the project site. A sign was posted on the project site, and a public notice was also placed on the city's website, and a notice was posted outside of City Hall. As of this evening, staff has not received any public comment. Next. Staff has confirmed that the project meets the findings associated with the conditional use permit and set out in the Milpitas Municipal Code. The detailed discussion of each finding is included in the staff report and addressed in the resolution. Next. Staff has also confirmed that the project meets the findings associated with the minor site development permit as set forth in the municipal code. And these findings are also detailed in the staff report and addressed in the resolution. Next. This project is exempt from further environmental review under CEQA guideline sections 15301 and 15183. As proposed, the project includes a conditionally permitted adult daycare facility within an existing facility in an urbanized area, a minor site development permit to allow minor exterior alterations to the building's facade, landscaping, parking lot restriping, and tree removal permit to remove 4 protected trees. The project is also consistent with the Milpitas General Plan, zoning ordinance, and the Midtown Specific Plan. And there are no circumstances present that would require a subsequent environmental impact report or an EIR or negative declaration. Next. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission open and close the public hearing adopting resolution number 21-015, approving conditional use permit amendment UA 20-0027, minor site development permit number MS 21-0023, and tree removal permit TR 21-0013, subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval. This concludes staff's summary of the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And the applicant, Brandon of Mission Bay, and his architect are also on the call this evening and would like to make a brief statement after staff directed questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. And commissioners, any questions for Mr. Avery Stark at this point? Okay.
I have one, Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Balon, please.
Yes, so the residential unit that's being attached to the building, is that a rental property, or is that going to be somebody from the ownership's residence, or?
The individual single unit is going to be a rental property. At this point, I do not know who will be residing within it, but it is a part of the analysis had to be made separate from the primary use as required by DSS, and in order to separate the two. So the has a separate entrance and exit that a member or staff person of Mission Bay would not have access to, that would create the separation of the two uses, which is why the required to cover parking was a part of the project. And there's also an outside space, like a private open space for that resident as well.
And so Mission Bay would be the landlord for the residents then?
Correct. They would be the landlord for a future resident.
Thank you, Chair. That's all I have. Thank you, Avery.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Balon. Any other comments, commissioners? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Stark, just a quick question with regards to the residence here. So that it has an ingress egress independent of the other entry points. So the unit itself is outside of the exterior entry point. It's not connected with any of the facilities that's on the first floor, correct?
Correct. The project plans indicate in detail previously there was a shared wall on the second floor between office space and the residential unit that would have been, at the time, was more used as a caretaker unit for the previous use. But as a part of this application, in order to make it a truly residential unit in Midtown, it needed to be made separate and independent. So there is its own private entrance and exit that will be locked separately from the use, and the tenants of Mission Bay would have access as landlords as required or as necessary to perform maintenance or functions. But the staff or participants of Mission Bay would not be able to gain direct access to that tenant space at any time.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. And this is a question for Director Thomas. Under the Midtown, the current Midtown specific plan that which governs the consideration here, this particular type of arrangement is that just want to sort of make sure we're consistent with the intent of the Midtown plans.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The zoning here is mixed use, MXD or mixed use, so it can have a residential unit as well as commercial facilities, commercial uses. Thank
you. And also on the same note here is with regards to an existing facility with a use permit, this will be worked in, with our updating of the Midtown specific plan in the new format, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, this site will be included as part of the new gateway plan.
Okay, thank you very much. And commissioners, questions for staff at this moment? Okay, see, Commissioner Ciardella.
Yeah, I've got some questions for Chief Zamora if he's on.
Okay, Commissioner Ciardella, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and limit the question to Mr. Stark at the moment, and okay. We'll do the applicant presentation, and then we'll have Mr. Zamora, the fire department, and Mr. Chen from traffic in sequence thereafter. Thank you very much. And any other commissioner comments for Mr. Stark or Director Thomas? Okay, seeing none.
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Galan.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair. I have a question to Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark, good evening. Tell me about how to run this facility. You mentioned that there's a total capacity of 135 adult from 18 years old to 65, correct?
From 21 years old to 65 years old.
65.
So how many staff required to operate this facility?
So the requirements for operation are outlined by the State Department of Social Services regulations. So an adult daycare program providers are licensed by DSS with a community care license division, and the requirement of ratio for staff to participants is not set by the planning department, but by the Department of Social Services. So as an existing adult daycare facility holder, they are most knowledgeable in their request for 135 participants and 50 staff to meet their license requirement with DSS.
Are there any doctors present during?
As a community care licensed facility, they are not a medical facility, so they will not have any doctored staff on site. There are two different types of adult daycare, one of which could be more of a hospice or a living care, where you would have licensed nurse practitioners, doctors on site to provide medical care or facilitate certain maybe minor procedures or assistance as needed.
So is there how long can they stay on this facility? Is there any time limit?
Hours of operation would set the time limit for the participant. Again, each participant will engage in different programs, some vocational schools, some are at community colleges, other participate in different types of programs offered. So some may arrive at that 8:30 opening time frame with staff, and then they also have group, we'll call them field trips for lack of a better term, where they're going out and they're doing certain types of socialization and work that they may have. And then others may arrive later in the day because they were at community school or vocational class and participate in different programs. So each member or participant could be there anywhere from 8:30 to 5:30, the hours of operation, as prescribed by the conditions of approval and their request for their hours of operation.
So every time they have like outside activities, they will accompany with the staff, correct?
Correct. They are accompanied full-time by staff, and that is the nature of their adult care facility, as they serve physically handicapped or mentally disabled adults from the ages of 21 to 65.
Including the transportation?
Including the transportation to and from the site, yes, as outlined in the staff report and in their operations plan, which was attached to the report.
On the second floor, do you have an elevator going to second floor?
There is no elevator to the second floor.
Okay. I think for now, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Stark.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Galan. And seeing no further questions at this point, Chair would like to welcome the applicant to address the commission. With Mr. Ye and the gentleman from Mission Bay would like to go ahead to your presentation, please. Ms. Medina, are the applicants connected?
Chair, all four of our applicants team are on right now as panelists. We have Brandon Coker, Claire Whiteside, Ricky, and Mr. Bill Steele.
Thank you. Would any members of the applicant team like to address the commission and do a presentation?
We, Commissioner, we don't have a presentation prepared.
Okay.
For this.
All right. Great. Thank you. And so at this time, commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant specific with regards to the operation? Commissioner Cerdello?
Yeah, since you have, 100 plus folks are going to be attending this school for a better lack of terms there, how are you going to bus all these people at one time and get them there by 8:30 in the morning?
So the applicant, Brandon, may be having audio connection issues, but I can step in here in this case. They do have their own fleet vehicles of vans to facilitate the pickup and drop off of their staff and the participants. It's not a single bus moving around, picking up everyone at one time, but more as ad needed, depending on the schedules of the participants and the staff who need to attend, picking them up from their home, bringing them to site, and then returning home with them to where they may live. So they're more like a sprinter type van, for example.
Okay, Mr.
So-
Coker,
So
Mr. Coker, I see you have a computer problems. Would other members of your team be able to step in on your behalf? Hello? Was someone from the applicant team able to respond to my question? Okay, Mr. Commissioner Serradella.
Yeah, I've got another question for Avery. Will the staff be on board on the bus before they go pick up the
Yes,
students?
as outlined in the justification and operation letter, staff will always be in attendance. In fact, they utilize and to help mitigate any traffic impact, the staff are often the drivers of those vans going to and from picking up participants from their home and bringing them to the site itself for classes or work, or to community school or vocational school. So there will always be a mission-based staff member on the bus and at all times with the participants.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you
Yes.
now, Brandon.
Okay. I went back, I went and grabbed my phone to answer the question with the transportation issues, or the question that you had. We've been doing this for about 20 years. We have a couple other locations, and it's done, like he said, in vans are approximately 10 to 15 passengers per van, and they don't all come in right at 8:30. They generally come in between the hours of about 8:30 and 9:15. And so it's not all loaded at the same time, and they're not all loaded at the same time when they go home too. They would leave around 1:15 up to 2 o'clock and shuttle out of there like that.
Okay, Commissioner Serradella, are you good with your questions?
Yeah, with that question there, I've got a question also for the applicant. Are any of your 50 teachers, for better lack of words, trained in CPR first aid?
Oh yes, they're trained in CPR and in first aid, and also in what's called a crisis intervention, CPI. And that they receive, we're required to do 12 credits per year on that to keep up with it.
Okay, and do you think you're going to have an issue trying to find 50 people?
Well, we're moving a location. We currently have a location in San Jose off of Zanker Road, and we're shutting that location down and moving that operation from there to Milpitas.
Oh, okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Commissioner Serradella. Do you have any other questions, Commissioner Serradella?
No, I've got some for, Chief Zamora, but.
Absolutely. Well, we'll hear from Mr. Chief Zamora in a few minutes. And I saw Commissioner Albana raise her hand a little earlier. So please.
Thank you, Chair. I had a question for Mr. Brandon. As the capacity for the adults would be 135, would that just be the total capacity, but it's not necessarily filled up for the whole day?
Yeah, so it's licensed for 135, and I would say that our attendance is about 80% a day. But of that 80%, I would say roughly half of those spend most of their time in the community. It's a sort of a revolving schedule. So we have things that are going out in the community, such as delivering food through Meals on Wheels, and we have a plot at Emmer Push Farms. Activities like that. So some days are spent in the building, other days are spent out in the community.
Great. How about the employees? Would the Milpitas be able to provide some openings for employments for our people from here?
Oh, yes, we're always looking for good people. We're always looking for good people. And we have quite a few employees that live in Milpitas, but we're always looking for good people. And we're always looking for contracts too, for some of our folks to, start learning how to get out in the job world and become more independent.
Mhm. Was there, I just wondered, this is just, why the change from a child daycare to an adult daycare?
Was that question for me?
No, the previous use,
For
the
every-
previous use was
Sorry.
approved as a child daycare facility that the Planning Commission approved back in 2019. This is a use amendment. So this is a new property owner and applicant from the previous.
Oh, okay, I got that cleared. Thank you so much, Avery. Thank you, Mr. Brandon. Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Albano. Vice Chair Chong, I see your raised hand. Please.
Thank you, Chair. Question for the applicant is, this being adult daycare, is this also, essentially a, for a memory care facility as well too for Alzheimer's?
No, it's not. That is a different spectrum. What we primarily focus on are adults with autism and different spectrums in that area and developmental delays.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
All right, thank you. That
You're
was
welcome.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other commissioners' questions? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Coker, just a few questions about your program. Are the clients referred to you, or they come that apply to join your program?
There's a regional center. There's actually 21 regional centers in the state of California. And the regional center that handles Santa Clara County is called San Andreas Regional Center. And the process is to become vendorized through that system first. And then the social workers there essentially refer consumers to the program that fits their needs. What we have to offer. So every program is different. Some programs are like ours, but a client may have particular needs that we can help them with.
Absolutely. And in terms of just from a Milpitas perspective, if this were an approved facility for your use, how many Milpitas residents or Milpitas locale residents are in your program right now?
Well,
approximately.
Yeah, it's probably about 60%. Remember, I was saying earlier, we're moving it from Zanker now to this location. So those consumers that go to the San Jose site on Zanker Road do live in Milpitas, and it's roughly about 60%.
Okay, great. And so in terms of the staff essentially are taking the program vehicles, so they're driving in, so they don't have their own personal vehicles that will be parked on the site besides the program.
Yeah, I mean, to say, yeah, most of them. I mean, 90% of them will come in on the vans, like I said, because we do have administrative staff that have their own car. Like myself and my wife and secretaries, they have their own car. But that's just, I think that's like 5 people. And the rest of the staff come in on the vans.
So besides for the participants, do you have planned like days where the participants' families or their other guardians or their affiliated folks will be coming in for kind of a larger functions on your site?
Well, they can come anytime that they want to visit, their family. Their meetings are held there. But as far as like a large function where, it's a family of all the participants coming at the same time, generally we don't have that. But we will have, like there's a basketball gym in there. So maybe once a year we'll do a little Special Olympics in there kind of deal.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And commissioners, any other questions for the applicant at this point? Okay.
Through the chair, I have one.
Please.
So is the Zanker facility running at full capacity right now? At the 150 mark?
No, it's about running at about 115 right now. Yeah.
And you're anticipating about the same in the Milpitas location?
Yes, we expect to get to full capacity, probably within a few months of opening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Balong. Seeing none, and at this time, I'd like to go ahead and bring on the Chief Zamora for questions. So, Commissioner Ciradella, I do see you have a point of questions for Chief Zamora.
Yep, sure do. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
You know, I'd like to know, I'm presuming that the building's sprinklered, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And are there, you know, what is it, panic hardware where the alarms go off if the doors open?
Yeah, so when you have an occupancy where you have an occupant load of 50 or more, the required exits are required to have panic hardware. Whether they have local alarm or not is subject to the owner's requests, but it's not required per se. Because of the classification being institutional Division 4 or I4, by the fire code, they're required to have a manual fire alarm system. So that would have to be incorporated along with the tenant improvement, because there will be some levels of remodeling occurring.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Ciradella. Commissioner Albana, I saw your raised hand.
No, I was just playing with my, I was playing with my pen.
Okay, we'll take the activities under consideration. And other commissioners, any questions?
Chair?
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Galan.
Yeah, I have a question to Mr. Brandon. Good evening, sir.
Hi.
I heard you've been in business for more than 20 years. My concern is if there is a medical emergency, like patients collapse in your facility or fainted, do you have an emergency medical kit in that facility?
Yes, we
Bill?
do. Yes, we do. We have a defibrillator. That's one of the things that we have. And like I said earlier, too, they're all trained in CPR and first aid. And it should be noted that we're not a medical facility. So if somebody comes in with a chronic condition, we can't accept them. So these are relatively healthy individuals. They just have developmental delays.
So you're saying that all your staff are trained to use that defibrillator?
Yes, yes, sir.
And in doing CPR, correct?
Yes, sir.
How about your driver? Do you check their driver record?
Yeah, so it's we're regulated by the Highway Patrol, and they also receive 32 hours per year of additional driving training. Okay. And they're also we're listed with the DMV, what's called a pull notice. So if they get a ticket or get into an accident, then the DMV notifies us within 30 days of whatever issue that happened to them. And they're fingerprinted as well. There's a background check and a fingerprinted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brandon.
You're welcome.
Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I interject just a moment?
Please, thank you.
I could. If I could just direct the planning commissioners to the staff report and also to the attachments, particularly, I believe it's attachment C. It includes an operations plan. Many of the questions that we're getting are not related to land use. They're more detailed, and we need to, I would very much like to see the Planning Commission stick more to some of the issues that are raised in the staff report or in the attachments. So all of this discussion is very interesting, but in the interest of time and in the interest of the applicant's time, I just want to be sure that we stick to the issues that are under the purview of the Planning Commission. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Thomas. We appreciate the reminder. And so circling back to Chief Zamora, any other commission questions for Chief Zamora, and also believe Assistant Chief Garcia? Okay, seeing none. Last chance. Okay, none. Chief Zamora and Assistant Chief Garcia, thank you very much for your time this evening. Really appreciate your attendance to the Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much. And is Mr. Chan with us this evening as well? Mr. Steve Chan?
Yes, I am.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Good. And the commissioners, we have the Milpitas traffic engineer here with us as well. Any commissioner questions for Mr. Chan? Anyone? Okay, last chance. All right, Mr. Chan. Well, thank you very much for your time spent with us this evening, and hey, you have a nice evening, and we'll look forward to have you on the next occasion.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, thank you very much. So this being a public hearing, and members of the public are welcome to comment on this particular item here. Ms. Medina, do we have any members of the public that's in the queue right now?
Chair, we have Miss Diane Knudsen.
Okay, and Ms. Diane, and you're back on. And I'm sorry, Ms. Medina, is she the only participant at this
She
time?
is the only community member in the queue to speak at this moment, yes.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Diane, you have 3 minutes. The floor is yours.
Chair. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Diane Knudsen, and I reside in Davis, California. I'm the Executive Director of Finance and Administration for the regional offices of the United Methodist Church. And I'm just here to reflect on the fact that this building is a closed church, a process that is difficult for us, that we take very seriously, with great cooperation from all the members of the church in Milpitas. And my experience has been over 20 plus years that when a church building is used and put to a good use after it's decommissioned as a church, it helps our former church members to move on. So I just feel really good about this particular use, and I feel it'll be well supported by all of our church members in Milpitas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diane. We appreciate your comments. And any other public comments, Ms. Medina, before we close it?
No other community members, Chair.
Thank you very much. So can I have a motion to close the public hearing portion?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Okay, and we have a motion by Vice Chair Chuan and a second by Commissioner Alcorn. And I'll go down the line for the vote. Commissioner Albana?
Aye.
Commissioner Galan?
Aye.
Commissioner Ciardella?
Aye.
Commissioner Belong?
Aye.
Commissioner Alcorn?
Aye.
Vice Chair Chuan?
Aye.
Chair, aye. The motion has a 7-0. The public hearing portion is closed. So commissioners, before we get to any motions, any discussions and thoughts or exchange of ideas for tonight's public hearing item? Vice Chair, please.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 21-015, approving conditional use permit amendment number UA 20-0027, minor site development permit number MS 21-0023, and tree removal permit number TR 21-0013, subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval.
Second.
Okay, and we have a motion by Vice Chair Chuan and a second by Commissioner Belong, and the chair will go down the line for the call. For the call on the votes. Commissioner Albana?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Galan?
Aye.
Commissioner Ciardella?
Aye.
Commissioner Belong?
Aye.
Commissioner Alcorn?
Aye.
Vice Chair Chuan?
Aye.
Chair, aye as well. Motion carries 7-0 in favor of the ayes. And we'd like to welcome Mission Bay, to the Milpitas family, and we look forward to having you performing the good services that which you're doing, and we look forward to your presence here and making your presence felt.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. And the next agenda item here is new business. There are no items, and the chair has one sort of later announcement this evening, and would like to note this will be Miss Planning Manager Jessica Garner's last meeting with the city of Milpitas, and we'd like to thank her immensely for the number for the hard work and the number of years of great service to the city of Milpitas, and most recently, the Herculean task with regards to the general plan update. We really like to thank her for her expertise and all the guidance and the number of great years with us. We really would like to thank her at this time for her services, and we will dearly and certainly miss you by a whole bundle. And we would just like to thank you and acknowledge your time with us, and thank you. And I think that's probably the best way I can say it. And any other commissioners would like to wish to come speak about it, we're certainly welcome at this point.
Yeah, Chair, if I could.
Please.
As my time as being vice chair and also just as the commissioner working with Jessica, it's been an absolute pleasure. Your brutal honesty in a very nice way was always well taken and appreciated. That's not sarcasm. I really did like that, because don't always get that from people. But also the knowledge and the professionalism behind it was just A+. So gonna miss you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Chair Chuan.
Yeah, I'd also like to, thank Planning Manager Garner for her service, and and our conversations that we've had, with regard to preparing for the planning meeting. I've always appreciated her true professionalism. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Ciardella.
Yeah, I'd just like to wish you good luck in the future, and if it doesn't work out, come on back to Milpitas.
Probably not going to be an option, but thank you very much, Commissioner. I appreciate your good words.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Ciardella, and Commissioner Albana.
Thank you very much for all the hard work, the time you put, sacrifices and dedication. We will miss you so much. I will miss you so much. And I want to say, God bless you and favor you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Albana.
Thank you. And as a last word, Ms. Garner, we really do appreciate your professional quality work, that which we have so very lucky to have the joy of experiencing for the number of years you've been hard at work in this city. And we want to wish you all the best in the going forward. And we'd like to thank you again for your kindness and helping the planning commission steering along the right channel. Well, and we want to thank you and acknowledge your great contributions to the city.
Thank you, Chair. It's been a real privilege to serve this planning commission and the city. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. And so before we adjourn the meeting, and some legal needs, any person aggrieved by any final decision of any board, commission, or department head to the city of Milpitas may appeal the decision to the city council by filing written notice of the appeal with the city clerk within 12 calendar days of the date of said decision, and paying the required fee. And this time limit shall be strictly enforced. And the next agenda item here is adjournment. So can the chair have a motion to adjourn?
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioner Bilal. Second from.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Alcorn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Great. Thank you very much. And the meeting is so adjourned. And well, thank you very much. And we will see everyone on June 23rd for the next planning commission meeting. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.